Okay, give me a second, I'll get it. We're here today at the home of Senator Ron Wyden of Oregon, at the New York home of Senator Ron Wyden of Oregon, to express our outrage that Senator Wyden has betrayed the people of the United States by choosing to collaborate with Republicans to introduce new fast-track legislation which will allow President Obama to railroad more job-killing, anti-environmental, anti-labor, anti-access to medicines, anti-public health trade agreements through Congress. Senator Wyden, by all indications, intends to move new fast-track legislation, despite having said last year that he wants to see a newer, more transparent model for trade promotion. It looks like he's now going to team up with Republicans and work with Orrin Hatch to pass the same new old bad fast track to help pass more NAFTA-style job-killing trade deals like the Trans-Pacific Partnership, the Transatlantic Trade and Investment Partnership, and the Trade and Services Agreement. These deals are NAFTA on steroids. They mean more outsourcing of jobs. They mean more corporations attacking our environmental laws in international tribunals. They mean more importation of unsafe foods. They mean more power for the 1% and less democracy. Senator Wyden is selling out Oregonians and selling out the whole country by supporting fast track. The good news is this legislation has not been introduced yet, so he still has a chance to see the light and not support corporate rule and not sell out voters and not sell out this whole country and this whole planet to more job-killing, anti-environmental, anti-democratic trade deals. Fast track shreds the Constitution. It undermines Article 1, Section 8, the Commerce Clause of Article 1, Section 8, which puts Congress, not the White House, in charge of our international commercial agreements. Fast track undermines separation of powers by ceding power from Congress to the administration, allowing the administration to negotiate trade agreements and then send them to Congress, with Congress being unable to amend those trade agreements in any way, being forced to vote on them in 90 days, being forced to only debate them on the floor for 20 hours, no more than 20 hours, from beginning to end. Fast track is designed to railroad bad trade deals through Congress without Congress knowing what they're voting on, without the public even having a chance to understand what's happening, without civil society having the opportunity to carefully study the implications of these terrible deals. It's because of fast track that we have NAFTA and the WTO and many of the worst trade agreements that have had so many disastrous consequences in the last 20 years, from outsourcing jobs to giving corporations new tools to attack our environmental laws. The last thing we need are more deals like NAFTA and CAFTA and permanent normalization of trade relations with China and the WTO that only benefit the 1%, that only benefit the corporations that want to profit from outsourcing, that do not create opportunities and prosperity for U.S. workers, that only increase our trade deficit, that do not create net gain of exports, but only serve the interests of corporations who want to pay workers sweatshop wages and then import goods to the United States from horribly exploited workers. The goal of these corporations is not to create jobs in the United States. It's not to expand the middle class. It's not to raise wages. It's to pay workers as little as they can. It's to produce commodities in countries with lax environmental laws. It's to gain new powers and to keep drug prices high, to criminalize our daily use of the internet, to expand corporate power at the expense of democracy forever. The last thing we need are more trade deals like TPP and TTIP and TISA, and certainly the last thing we need is fast track, which will prevent Congress from doing its job and actually understanding what's in these trade deals properly and doing something about it, amending these trade deals to take out some of these disastrous provisions that will expand corporate power at the expense of all of us. So we say to Senator Wyden, shame on you for even thinking of collaborating with the Republicans and President Obama on new fast-track legislation. We hope this is just a rumor that you're going to do this, and we hope in the next few days we'll hear that in fact you will not support fast-track, that you will not work with Republicans, in passing new fast-track legislation, that you will do your job as a member of Congress, as a senator, in actually studying these trade agreements and allowing your colleagues to do the same, and actually having influence over our trade agreements so that we do not end up with more disastrous NAFTA-style trade deals. Senator Wyden, do your job. 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 Senator Wyden,
cool.
Do your job.
Okay.
That was kind of a crappy
It's good enough. Apollo, your fingers open? Are your fingers open? No, no, no. Tap the square, please.